A very good morning to my dear students. We were doing lesson 4 pronouns from the grammar book, the Grammarite, and we were dealing with the types of pronouns. Let's continue with the next type of pronouns, that is reflexive pronouns. As you can see on the screen, it's mentioned a reflexive pronoun is usually used when the object of a sentence is the same as the subject. As you can see an example here, the correct sentence is mentioned, I cut myself. That is, the subject and object are the same person or thing. If you write the sentence like I cut me, it will be an incorrect sentence. Remember, each personal pronoun, I, you, she, he, we, they all have its own reflexive forms. Let's say in another words, a reflexive pronoun refers to a noun or another pronoun and indicates that the same person or thing is involved. Remember, reflexive pronouns are formed by adding self, S-E-L-F, self, or selves. Here, self is the singular form or selves is the plural form to a few personal or to certain personal and possessive pronouns. Let's take an example. The woman found herself a book of folk tales. Who did found the book of folk tales? The woman herself found a book of folk tales, where the woman is a subject and it's the action is reflecting on herself. So, it's a reflexive pronoun. In this example, the highlighted word is used when the subject and the object of a sentence is referring to the same person. So, they are called as reflexive pronouns. Remember, reflexive pronouns behave like objects to the verb. Here in this sentence, the word herself, which is highlighted, is used to point back to the noun in the given sentence. So, students, such a pronoun is called a reflexive pronoun. So, reflexive pronouns, you have to identify reflexive pronoun when the action of the subject reflects upon the doer. Doer means who is doing the action. Here is a list of 8 reflexive pronouns where you can notice the subject pronouns that has been turned to reflexive pronouns. In singular form, we have I. When I change it into reflexive pronoun, it becomes myself. You is singular form. Reflexive pronoun will be yourself. He is also singular. So, it will become himself. She, it will become herself. It, and it will become itself. When we talk about the plural form, whenever we take plural form, it will become we become ourselves. You is the plural form. It will become yourselves as reflexive form. And when we talk about they is a subject pronoun. When we will turn it into reflexive pronoun, it will become themselves. And you should know, a reflexive pronoun is normally used when the object of a sentence is the same as the subject. And each personal pronouns that I read, such as I, you, he and she, has its own reflexive form. Notice that these pronouns are formed by the addition of the suffix like self, that is in singular form, or selves, that's in plural form, to simple pronouns such as my, your, her, him, it, them and our. Let's now proceed to understand what is an emphatic pronoun, or in other words, we call them as an intensive pronoun. Let's define it. Emphatic pronoun is used to emphasize the nouns in the sentences. They are used to put emphasis on the subject. They intensify the subject to show that an action is done by the subject by referring to it. Also, as they give more importance on the subject, they are also known as intensive pronouns. They can be either direct or indirect objects. They are formed by adding self in singular form or selves in plural form at the end of certain personal pronouns. The list of singular form of emphatic pronouns are myself, himself, herself, itself and yourself. Whereas in plural form we will take it as yourselves, ourselves and themselves as examples for emphatic or intensive pronouns. Here in one of the example, I myself will come to receive you. Students, you can notice the word myself, that is putting an emphasis or emphasizing on the pronoun I. Emphatic pronouns emphasize to give more stress, or we can say it gives more stress or give more importance to a noun or another noun in the same sentence. They typically end with self, that is self or selves. So, there is a difference between reflexive and emphatic pronouns. Students, reflexive and emphatic pronouns may be identical in form, but their functions are different. You should know a pronoun is reflexive if the action of the subject reflects upon the doer. Who is the doer? Who does the main action. Whereas when we talk about emphatic pronouns, they are used to emphasize the action. Emphasize means to give more importance or to give more stress to the, or we can say it gives more emphasis on the action of the subject. Reflexive pronouns are used as objects when the doer and receiver of the action is same. When we use them, the focus of the sentence still remains on the verb. Whereas emphatic pronouns are used to give emphasis or it intensify the subject. They take away the focus from the verb and brings it back to the subject of the sentence. Let's understand the other kind of pronouns. They are relative pronouns. So students, relative pronouns are who, whom, whose, which and that. They are used to join two sentences together and it refers back to nouns going before them. Let us understand by using few examples. Number one, this is the man. He stole my purse. When you change this sentence into relative pronouns, you can write without changing the meaning. This is the man who stole my purse. So what is the relative pronoun? It's who. Number two, this is the boy. His father is dead. So when you write it using the relative pronoun, it becomes this is the boy whose father is dead. So when we use who, whose, whom, that and which, they are all relative pronouns and they are used to join two sentences together and it refers back to nouns going before them. It is also used for the noun that goes before it. Even we can often leave out the relative pronoun in some cases, like this is the knife with which I cut the cake. Second sentence, this is the knife I cut the cake with. So you can notice in the second sentence which is omitted, the word which is omitted and the position of with has changed. As third point, as the relative pronoun refers to a noun or a pronoun, it must be of the same number and person. It is the verb that will show the number and person of the relative pronoun. Like for examples, the vegetables which grow in our garden are not for sale. It is the guard who is to blame. So, in these two sentences, you can notice whenever we talk about the relative pronoun which refers to a noun or a pronoun, it is essential to be of the same number and person. It is the verb only that will show the number and person of the relative pronoun. Let us now understand how to use pronouns in sentences. Few examples as mentioned in the screen. Salim helps his mother, he is helpful. We cannot repeat the noun, so we use the pronoun he. Rishabh has not come to school, let's go meet him. The cooks decided to cook something different, they served Italian food. In all the highlighted words, students, you can see they are the nouns, Salim, Rishabh, cooks, and the pronouns being used like he, him, they. So, in each of these sentences, the pronouns match the nouns in gender, number and person. So, we see that to use a pronoun correctly in a sentence, it is very important to identify whether the noun is either the subject or the object. Next, it is a feminine or masculine form, or else it is a singular form or plural form. There are some more ways and some rules that tell us about how pronouns can be used in sentences. Let us know about them now. First, a collective noun takes a singular noun. For example, the committee has arrived at a decision. It will announce the decision after lunch. So, students, when you see the word committee, you all know it is a collective noun. So, when we talk about collective nouns, it always takes the singular pronoun. Whenever we talk about collective nouns, it will complete sentence taking a singular pronoun. Let us take another rule. However, if the individuals that make up a collective noun are talked about, then a plural pronoun is used. For example, the team was in disagreement over the matter. When we talk about the word team, you all know a group of people playing together. So, in that case, we will write they. So, they will be the plural pronoun. The sentence will be the team was in disagreement over the matter. Next sentence, instead of team, we write they decided to discuss their differences with the coach. Another rule is as follows, that two or more singular nouns when joined by the conjunction and it takes a plural pronoun to complete the sentence. Like for example, Rahul and Gurpreet. You can notice Rahul and Gurpreet are two singular nouns. They are the name of two different persons. So, the sentence goes, Rahul and Gurpreet reached school late. They were not allowed to enter the classroom. As you can notice, the sentence has been joined by the conjunction and, that is Rahul and Gurpreet reached a school late. So, we are taking the plural noun they to complete the sentence. So, Rahul and Gurpreet reached school late. They were not allowed to enter the classroom. Also, the last rule goes, if two or more singular nouns are joined by the conjunction and, but it refers to the same person, then a singular pronoun will be followed. Like, Amal is president and treasurer. Means, Amal is the same person who is the president as well as the treasurer of the club. So, we are denoting to the same person. Then in the pronoun when we write, we take a singular pronoun by writing he is a responsible boy. Students, please go through the chapter and revise the types of pronouns. I will give you the exercises in the PDF form. Please complete your work. That's all for today. Thank you.